Hello. Hi guys, I hope all of you are doing well. So I welcome you all to yet another video in the Databricks playlist. So in this particular video, we are going to see how we can remove duplicate values from our data frame. So in the last few videos, we have seen that how we can change a column name, how we can sort our data frame, and how we can add a new column to our data frame. So if you're not aware about these topics, I would suggest you to first of all watch those videos and then continue with this particular video. So let's jump right into the screen and let's see how we can remove duplicate values from the data frame. So let me first of all create a markdown cell. So here I will write remove duplicate values from data frame. Okay. So now, first of all, what exactly a duplicate value is, right? So a duplicate value, like the PySpark, will consider a row to be duplicate when all the columns have similar values. Even if one single column is having a different value from rest of the columns, it will not consider that two rows as a duplicate row, right? So let me first of all display my data frame so that we can have a glimpse of my data frame, right? So this is okay. It took a bit while. So this is the data frame that we are using from a while, right? It has multiple columns and it has multiple rows. So if there is a condition where there are two rows where all the values of all the columns are exactly the same, in that particular condition, those two values will be considered as those two rows will be considered as duplicate. So how can we check that if my data frame, because obviously we can't go one by one, right? Column by column and row by row to check if it has a duplicate value, right? So how can we do it? How can we check that particular thing? So we can do that particular thing by writing a condition, right? Or I would say writing a piece of code. So first of all, I will import from pyspark.sql.functions. Okay, I will import star. It means I want to import all the functions that are present in the sql.functions module, right? And then what I will do, I will create a data frame df.duplicates, duplicates, right? Where first of all I will be doing df.groupby. Okay. So if you are not aware about group by function, you need not worry. So currently we will be using a few things, right? Like join and group by, which we have not discussed yet. But for sure in the upcoming videos, we are going to discuss these things in very detail. So why I am showing you this particular thing is so that you can at least get to know that particular piece of code that you can use to find that if there is a duplicate value present in your data frame or not. So you don't have to manually do it. Okay. So df.columns, we will have to select all columns, right? Then I will use count function, which will count the occurrence of that particular output, right? And then we will use something called as filter, and we will filter what, where count will be greater than 1. It means it will have the duplicate values, right? It will have more than one rows to in that particular data frame. Okay. Now what we will do is that I will use display function, and inside display function I will do df.join. Okay, I will join nothing but df underscore duplicates. Okay, and then I will use on condition. I'll be joining on df.columns, column columns, right? And then I will use how. It means which kind of join do I want to use. So there are multiple types of join, for sure we are going to discuss in the upcoming videos, right? And now if I run this particular cell, okay, cannot be resolved for the join. So we are using df.join on duplicates. On df.columns got it. I have put a string here. whereas we don't have to put it in a string, right? Because then it's like we had when we had put this particular value in a string, in that particular condition it was searching for a column that was named as df dot columns, whereas we don't want that. We want all the columns to be like to be used for the joining purpose. Okay, and now when you see the output, we see no rows returned, right? So here we can verify that in the df data frame we don't have any rows that are duplicate, right? So in this condition, what we can do is that we can create a dummy data frame, not to worry about it, right? So first of all, I will do what? From PySpark dot sql dot functions, I will import something called as row, and then I will create a list, right? And here I can do what? I can put row, right? Row, and then what I will do inside row, I will put the values. So I will take one column as country, okay, and country, let's say I can take country as A, right? I can take something as year, okay. Year will be, let's say, 2020, okay, and I can take another column, let's say life expectancy, okay, and I can take life expectancy as 100, right? And then what I will do is that I will copy these things and I will paste it. So here let's keep the very same. I can keep country as B, let's say year as 2021. I can keep the life expectancy as 150. I can keep country as B, year 2021, life expectancy again as 150. Let's say country as C and C, year as, let's say, 2022. I can make it as, let's suppose, 200 and 300. Cool. And now what I will do is that I will create a new data frame underscore dummy will be equal to spark dot create data frame, and inside data frame I put the value, and then what I will do, I will display df underscore dummy, right? And now I can run this particular cell. Okay, here it's not row, it's from spark dot sql. Okay, it's not from functions. I will have to put from spark dot sql. Okay, I can just put here row. Okay, and now I can run this particular cell. So now you can see my data frame has been created, and in this particular data frame we have a few rows where we are having the duplicate values. It means all the columns are having the very same value here, like the country A is having the very same value, year 2020 is having the very same value, and life expectancy 100 is having the very same value. So similarly for country B, country is equals to B, year is equals to 2021, life expectancy is equals to 150 and 150. Again we are having country C, year is 2022, but in the life expectancy column we are having something as 200 and 300. So let's see, right? Let's explore how we can do the things, right? So first of all, I can use a distinct function that is there for getting the distinct values out of my data frame. So I will do df underscore dummy dot distinct. Okay. And now if I run it, okay, I will have to call the action function that is display df1. Okay, so now you see that the output is having 4 rows, right? We are having country A, country B, and country C. So now the thing is verified that because country A and country B, these 2 rows are having the exactly same values for all the columns, they are not appended in the output, whereas the country C, the life expectancy column was having a different value, right? Here it's having 200 and here it's having 300. So for that reason, country C's both rows has been added right here. Okay. So here there is one more function that we can use to get the unique values, and that is something called as drop duplicates. Okay. And now if I run this particular thing and I will display df1, so the output will be exactly similar, right? We are having a 4 number of rows here also, we are having 4 number of rows here also, right? So now what's the difference between distinct and drop duplicates? So one major difference is, let's say if we want to check the duplicacy on based on a certain column. So I want to check the duplicacy based on country column only. I don't want to check on rest of the columns. So it's not possible in case of distinct function. Okay. If I'm going to write something as, let's suppose df1 will be equals to df underscore dummy, right, dot distinct. Okay. And inside distinct, I can pass something as, let's say, country. If I pass it and if I display df1, let's see what happens. So here we are getting an error, type error, and it says data frame dot distinct function. It takes one positional argument, but we have got two arguments, right? So it is not possible in case of distinct function, but it is very, very much possible in case of drop duplicate functions. So if I do df1 dot df underscore dummy dot drop duplicates, right? And here if I pass country column, now if I do display df1, right? So now this particular code will run successfully. So before running this particular cell, I would be giving you, I would say a quiz kind of thing, right? Or a challenge that you should predict the number of rows that are going to come here as an output. Okay. So if you correctly predict and you get the logic behind this, you have got the you have got the logic that how these particular distinct function and drop duplicate function works, right? So here my prediction will be that the number of output rows will be 3 in this particular case, right? So if I run this particular cell, right? So here the number of rows that we are getting as an output is 3, right? Why? Because in this particular condition, it only checked country column. It did not check the life expectancy column where we were having the other distinct value right here. The only change here was that the life expectancy column was having value 300. Country column was having the same values, right? A, B and C, right? So here country column is having only 3 distinct values, country A, country B and country C. So for the same reason, we have got the number of rows as 3 only. I guess you got my point, right? So here if we want to check any other column, let's say if I want to do df underscore dummy, right, dot drop duplicates, and this time I want to check, let's say, year column. Okay. And I want to display df1. Again, just pause the video for a second and think about the number of rows as an output. So here again, we are going to get number of rows as 3 itself. Why? Because the number of distinct years is nothing but 2020, 2021 and 2022. Okay. Now, if I want to do the very same thing on life expectancy column. Okay. I want to do this time on life expectancy. Okay. Now just predict the number of rows as an output. So here we are going to get 4 as an output. Why? Because the number of distinct values in life expectancy column is 4. That is 100, 150, 200 and 300. And for the very same reason, the country C, like the other row of the country C, also got appended to this particular data frame. Okay. Now I can also write right here, I can insert 2 columns for the check of condition. I can also do, let's suppose, country I can check on the distinct values of country as well as year, right? So here again, we are going to get output as a 3 row only, because again, the country was having only 3 distinct values A, B and C, and year was having 3 distinct values 2022, 2021, sorry 2020, 2021 and 2022. But here if I change this a bit, right? Here if I do df underscore dummy dot drop duplicates, I put year, country, and I take life expectancy as my third row. Now in this particular condition, let's see what happens. Okay. So because we have also taken life expectancy into consideration, my fourth row got appended because there are 4 distinct values in case of life expectancy column, right? So I hope in this particular video you learned something new and it was helpful for you guys. So let's meet in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep growing. Bye bye.